Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Slikk, and I'm back again with another video. And in this one, we're going to be talking about Batman the Telltale Series Episode 2, which is titled Children of Arkham. And today, I want to talk about this episode in a sort of spoilery, in-depth way. And as YouTubers, as a YouTuber myself, I always like to say that I want to make videos that if I were a viewer, I would want to see. And certainly, this video is one that I wanted to see that Monday night after I had just finished the episode. And I wanted to, after you play a video game and it's really good and you're into it, you're sort of in that world and you want to dive a little bit deeper into it and hear what other people thought about that, that sort of thing. Beyond just a review of like, oh, this was good, this was bad, but actually talking about the content of the game. And of course, when I looked it up and I was trying to find somebody else talk about it, there was no videos up. But as I said, this was actually Monday before the game technically came out, so it was understandable that that would be the case. So anyway, long story short, this is a video that I have really wanted to make and I'm excited to make, and is one that I've not done very often, or something I seldom do for this video in particular. I actually have notes, so I have an outline for my video. Now, it doesn't say anything particular in terms of like what I'm going to say. All it says is like topics, and I'll have the timestamps in the description below. And with the end of the video, I want to conclude with, in my last segment, my new theory as to who the leader of the Children of Arkham is, which I did make a separate video for, and I realized was largely throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what would stick, and from that video in particular, nothing stuck, so we're going to go and try that again, and it was really tough to do without ever actually seeing the Children of Arkham, and we didn't see much of them in episode 2, which I'll talk about later in the episode, in this video, rather, but I do want to talk about that whole Children of Arkham situation, because I have a new theory that I think is actually plausible, as opposed to my last ones, which I don't even remember half of them, but I know some of them are not plausible. Okay, anyway, let's talk about Batman the Telltale Series Episode 2, and the first thing I have on my notes here to talk about is the origin flashback scene, and I was so pleasantly surprised by this flashback scene, and not that I was expecting anything less than to be pleasantly, not surprised, I guess, but to be pleased with what they presented. I was expecting to be pleased, but with that being said, they did it in a unique way, and I felt as though with almost every interpretation of this origin, you have to do something new, because it's been done so many times, over 75 freaking years, however long it's been, you can't just do the same thing over and over again. So even just subtle changes, like in Gotham, for example, having Selina Kyle witness the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne. I thought the origin was done brilliantly in Gotham. You also have Batman v Superman and The Dark Knight. And the problem with both of these films, not The Dark Knight, sorry, Batman Begins. And the only real problem that you have with these portrayals that I think doesn't allow them to live up to what they could be, not that they were done in a wrong way, and I think that Batman v Superman did it even better than Nolan did in terms of that origin. But, of course, it's PG-13, right? So, like, for example, in Batman v Superman, when Joe Chill puts the gun up to Martha's face, and right as he pulls the trigger, the camera cuts to her necklace, as opposed to actually seeing her get shot. And not that that's a bad thing for a PG-13 movie, but this is Telltale Games we're talking about here. They're making an M-rated game, and Telltale gives 0 fucks. Okay, so they just show you. They literally show you Thomas Wayne getting a bullet in his head. I mean, his eye gets shot off. You see it in slow motion. It's like, Jesus Christ. But I don't mean that in a bad way. It serviced the story so well, and it's going to come back, and I think be even more so important in a variety of ways, but really, I was just so pleasantly surprised. So that was one of the big changes, is the gruesomeness of it, and also Bruce Wayne, he's not like pissed or anything like that. He's just resigned, man. He's just like on his knees, just crying, again, not sobbing loudly or being hysterical, as he rarely is in these interpretations, but even less so. He is just totally broken, almost in disbelief that it's happening. So I thought that was all done very well. And also another big change in terms of the way in which it was portrayed is, like with the sort of blue lining of it, I don't know how to explain it, but in such that Bruce Wayne is there in real life as he's reliving it, and we're seeing that reimagination through a pigment of Bruce Wayne's imagination in a way, which again is a very different way. Usually we just see it as like the camera that's recording it is in current time, you know what I mean? Like it's a flashback scene. This was not that. We were watching the scene in current time through Bruce Wayne's imagination, if you can think about it in that way. At least that's the way that I perceived it. So that's pretty much, all I got to say about the origin and the way it was portrayed. I was so pleasantly pleased with that. So one of the things also that I was sort of thinking about, and you know, I guess sort of the toughest pill to swallow for me, is that Thomas Wayne is a bad guy. And we see it so clearly throughout this episode, but it is just something I just can't get behind, you know what I mean? And there's so many changes that they've made to the game that are brilliant. I think most all of them are. And when I say I can't get behind, this doesn't mean I don't like that. I just can't grasp it, you know what I mean? I can't believe that Thomas Wayne is a bad guy, you know what I mean? There's still a part of me that thinks there's some catch, you know what I mean? So the theorizer in me got to thinking about a theory as to how this could be explained and how Thomas Wayne isn't actually a bad guy that we think that he is. And even though Alfred told us that Thomas Wayne was doing all of this bad stuff, I thought about this, and I'm not saying I think this is going to happen, it's just the only rationale I could think of. And that being that, of course, Hush, you know, Tommy Elliot, is traditionally Bruce Wayne's childhood friend, and he grows up to try to look like or to be a sort of copycat of Bruce Wayne. My thought is this, is you have Hush, the same sort of thing, Tommy Elliot, who is actually a friend of Thomas Wayne. So you have Thomas Elliot, Thomas Wayne. Okay, maybe they were friends, and Thomas Wayne is actually, you know, emulated by Tommy Elliot. So Tommy Elliot is the Hush to Thomas Wayne as opposed to Bruce Wayne, if that makes sense. And thereby, long story short, Thomas Wayne didn't actually die that night, and it was sort of a stage. You know, you see that with political candidates all the time. Not really in real life, but more so in, you know, TV shows and movies and stuff like that. If they get like a death threat as, you know, whatever, this candidate's going to get assassinated, that sort of thing, you put out somebody that looks like the person to give the speech as opposed to the real guy, shoot that, you know, and they shoot the second guy, not the actual politician. I'm not saying I believe it. In fact, I think it's pretty slim. Just an idea I was thinking about because, again, it's just a tough pill to swallow for me that Thomas Wayne was a bad guy. Now, usually Thomas Wayne is tough around the edges. He's rough around the edges, rather. And he's not exactly like a loving father. He does care very much so for his son and would do anything for him, but it's not that kind of relationship, you know what I mean? It's a very traditional kind of family relationship, I would think, between father and son. He even says, Bruce Wayne says, I believe in this game, I believe he even said, that I barely even knew my father. And it's not like he was 2, he was 8 or 9, you know what I mean? So that's interesting as well, and that actually plays into the line I talked about in my other video. When you kill a man, you take away not only all that he will ever be, but all that he ever was. So in Bruce Wayne's eyes, all that Thomas Wayne ever was stripped from him when he was murdered by Joe Chill. Okay, so enough about that and my crazy Hush theory. Again, I don't actually believe that, just something I was thinking about, because it is, I think, tough to swallow for all of us that Thomas Wayne is a bad guy, but I think that's the direction that Telltale is going, and I like it. It's a good change. It's a good change, and will service the story extremely well, so that's why I think that it's perfectly acceptable. So, the Children of Arkham. I want to talk about them a little bit, and I'm going to get to my theory as to who the leader is at the end of the video, but there was definitely an absence of them from this episode. I think the most of what we saw from the trailer was actually the teaser for episode 3, not, you know, in episode 2. There was very little of them in there. We did see the leader of the Children of Arkham, who I'll just keep calling him that, the leader of the Children of Arkham, who is clearly this mysterious character that we're supposed to sort of try to guess who it's going to be, and is definitely hiding their identity for a good reason. And we didn't see them all that much. They definitely did that sort of thing, like the revolutionary, you know, jargon propaganda stuff that Cobblepot likes doing. And I think that I have my own theory as to why that they are spouting similar rhetoric. It seems to be that they're colluding. To what degree, I don't exactly know, but we'll talk about that once again a little bit more in the video. But I was expecting the Children of Arkham to be play a little bit bigger part in the episode titled The Children of Arkham, you know what I mean? And it doesn't really matter. I'm not, you know, mad about it or anything like that. I was just surprised that they weren't in it as much as at all, pretty much. So I think they're going to be a big part of episode 3, and I cannot wait to see that. I think that is going to be so cool to see them. And particularly the leader of the Children of Arkham, this mysterious figure, I think is one of the most intriguing aspects of the series thus far. And I cannot wait to see them explore that a little bit more and see who this guy is behind the mask. So, next thing on my list here that I wanted to talk about. Oswald Cobblepot as the Penguin. And is he the Penguin anymore? And my sort of theory about this and the way that I interpreted the end of the scene in episode 2, where we see Oswald Cobblepot march off from the stage, and he also leaves behind his penguin mask. Now, one of the things I loved about this episode is Bruce Wayne, when talking to Selina in the bar, directly identifies him as the Penguin. I love that. Actually, not the Penguin. Penguin is exactly what he said. So I think that's very cool, and I love that. And they really pushed him to supervillain status quick, as Telltale did for another character, Harvey Dent. If you choose certain path, then that will happen pretty quickly as well. So my point being is that the series is really accelerating at a rate in which I was not expecting, and is providing room for more supervillains in the future. And this is what my theory about Oswald Cobblepot's involvement in the future season, and I certainly think he is going to be involved, just not as Penguin. I interpreted personally that him leaving behind the Penguin mask, and Bruce Wayne has this very personal moment where he picks it up and looks into it and looks at the mask. I interpreted that as Oswald Cobblepot moving past the alter ego of the Penguin, and I'm not saying that he's not going to be a bad guy anymore. I think he certainly is, just maybe a different alter ego, and we could see him embody a actual traditional characters such as the Joker, such as Scarecrow, or that sort of persona, but as Oz still nonetheless, and embody something. I think not the Joker, that's pretty far-fetched, but something like that, something like Killer Moth or Firefly, but instead of Linz or whoever behind the mask, you have Oswald Cobblepot. My point being is I think the Penguin is dead. Oswald Cobblepot is certainly alive, but I think the Penguin is dead, and that sort of again, I'll use the word alter ego, I think is gone after this episode. And what a freaking amazing sequence at the end there. Just going a little bit into that. And at first, if you remember when I did my playthrough, if you haven't seen it, the first thing that I said after I picked Harvey to save Harvey, and of course, if you choose Harvey, basically a rundown for those of you that don't know, if you choose Harvey, Selina gets shot, but she runs away, and she's bleeding, and they're chasing her down in the after credits type scene, whatever you want to call it, and she's okay. She's alive. If you save Selina, then she doesn't get shot, but the thing is that Harvey Dent actually becomes Two-Face. So, with that being said, right after that scene, and I watched both of the endings, and I was like, oh, I made the right choice. Without a shadow of a doubt. And I even said in my video, I love when Telltale does choices where there is a better choice. And I chose the better choice, is what I said. And somebody even tweeted me, and they were like, isn't that sort of pretentious of you? Are you certain that that is the better choice? Because think about it. Selina Kyle ran away from you while she was with a gunshot wound, very disgruntled about it, and she completely just left you in the dust. And meanwhile, you're by Harvey Dent's bedside. She's getting chased down an alleyway by the people that shot her. I think the cops or something, some shit. She's not going to be happy about that. And I think that somebody tweeted me and explained it perfectly, and I couldn't retweet it or favorite it, but, just because people haven't played it yet. But I thought it was brilliant, and somebody says something to the effect of, in that scene, you're essentially choosing who is going to be a supervillain in the future season. Is it going to be Harvey Dent as Two-Face, or is it going to be Selina Kyle? And I began thinking about it, and really they are setting that up. So Selina's going to have this idea of like, oh, well, he saved Harvey instead of me, and she's going to go full-on supervillain on us, right? Whereas we still have Harvey Dent, he's not Two-Face, but Selina Kyle is pissed, and she is not, she already friend-zoned us, but she's already, she's super pissed now. If you're like me, I got friend-zoned anyway. Interesting. I never thought about it that way. I was like, well, of course, Selina Kyle got shot, but she's okay. Harvey Dent is freaking Two-Face. He's got no he is Two-Face, literally. But Telltale's changed a lot with the canon. How do we not know that Harvey Dent is not going to just have this face thing going on, but he's going to be okay for at least a little bit, and then the duality of the personality comes in and he goes crazy, but that might not happen right away. In fact, we have no reason to believe that would happen right away. If you think about it logistically from, I guess, a basic scientific perspective, that probably wouldn't happen just instantly. As soon as your face gets burned, like, oh, I have two personalities, I'm bipolar, I'm a freak psychopath that murders people, you know what I mean? So I think that might happen, and we also are going to see Selina Kyle, if we chose Harvey Dent, which I did. I think we're going to see her as a villain, a straight-up villain. There's no wishy-washy, are we going to kiss her, that sort of crap. She's just pissed at us now. And, I hope that they do give us a chance that we can explain to her, like, Selina, you are Catwoman, you're a superhero, anti-hero type person, and you can do crazy shit. And Harvey Dent's not. He's just a little politician, and he was about to get his face slammed in by the Penguin. So my presumption was, I left you out to dry. Sure, but I had to make a choice, you know what I mean? And I think that that's going to be tough because in that moment, it's not, that scene is not for, the player at that moment. It's not a picking of, do you love Catwoman or Harvey Dent more? You know what I mean? At least, or which character's your favorite? Just pick one. To me, it wasn't anyway. To me, it was a logistical thing of like, Harvey Dent is going to get fucked up by Penguin if I don't save him. Excuse my language. He's in trouble. Catwoman is Catwoman. She can get out of almost anything, and that was my personal reasoning for it. It wasn't that like, oh, me and Harvey are friends. In fact, I was sort of pissed at him at that moment because he was like asking me for money. He's like, are you sure I'm gonna have your money? It's like, shut the hell up. What are you talking? You know what I mean? So that sort of annoyed me a little bit. Again, that scene to me wasn't like picking which of the two side characters is your favorite. It was just like at the heat of the moment. You just have to make a choice. You can't hesitate, right? So interesting how that's going to play out. We're going to see, and once again, with my choice in particular, I hope that I have the chance to have a dialogue with Selina and explain to her that reasoning, and hopefully she will understand that, I wasn't trying to, pick favorites. It was just the heat of the moment. So I'm interested to see how that turns out in terms of Selina and Harvey both being villains. So we're already 16 minutes in. Let's go and talk about the Children of Arkham. I got a few other things on here, but let's talk about the leader of the Children of Arkham and my theory. If I recall correctly, in my video a few days ago, I was basically suggesting that certain supervillains were going to be behind the mask of the leader of the Children of Arkham. If you don't know who I'm talking about, the leader is the guy who got on the mic and was like, today I show you the truth, with the voice change and all that stuff. And then he showed the clip on TV of Cobblepot's mother, who I don't know her name, I'm sorry. Cobblepot's mother getting sentenced to Arkham Asylum. Mayor Hill and Thomas Wayne are in the room, and that whole thing is going down, and basically Cobblepot's mom gets sentenced to Arkham. Interesting how Mayor Hill's involved, but he's of course dead, and Harvey Dent is either incapacitated or he can run for mayor, so is that like winning by default? I don't really know. Besides the point, who is this guy? And I began thinking about it, and I realized all the theories in my other video were wrong. So I came up with really two. I came up with two that I think are, it seems as though it's likely between these two. Now, here's my sort of thinking, and here's how I sort of narrowed it down. Okay, so first I want to go over who the leader of the Children of Arkham is not. How do we know that 100% with absolute certainty the Children of Arkham is not, the leader of the Children of Arkham is not the people I'm about to read? It is because the leader of the Children of Arkham cannot be in two places at once, okay? So Batman, Oswald Cobblepot, Catwoman, Mayor Hill, who's dead, Harvey, Gordon, and a few others were all at the debate at the same exact moment, watching the same television screen as this person was spewing the propaganda of revolution and tonight I show you the truth. So all of those people cannot be, with an absolute certainty, they cannot be the person, okay? So that cuts out well over three-fourths of the characters in this series, okay? So then we get into potential characters of who this person could be, who is clearly a male, okay? So the person is a male. That is the Zellerbacks. Now, I forget, once again, the male, the husband in the Zellerbacks. But if you don't recall, that was in the party scene. The Zellerbacks were like, oh, we feel so bad for you, Bruce, about your parents and all that sort of crap. It's like, oh, wow, thanks for reminding me, sort of thing, at least in that scene in particular. The thing is that he's like 60, okay? And I interpret the leader of the Children of Arkham looks like 30s, something, you know what I mean? Not 60 or 70, okay? So I'm putting that out of the way right away. Alfred, okay? If you remember before Batman Arkham Knight came out, everybody's like, oh, Alfred's going to be the Arkham Knight. And have you ever seen Alfred and the Arkham Knight in the same place at once? Me either, didn't think so. Coincidence? I think not. That was sort of the circular reasoning of it. And you could make the same argument here. You know what I mean? I don't think so. Not at all. Not even a 1% chance. A Batman BVS quote. I don't think that's likely at all. But, just saying, I'm just listing these are the people that it could be. And then we get into the two people I really do think that it could be. And at first I thought Joe Chill. Now, why does it make sense for Joe Chill to be the leader of the Children of Arkham? What do we know about this guy? First of all, this guy knows about the secrets of Gotham. He knows about the underworkings of the political overclass of Gotham. Not the underclass, the political overclass. This means Mayor Hill, the Waynes, the Falcones, and these sort of people, the billionaires in Gotham that run the show. He knows about all of these. We know this because when Thomas Wayne is getting shot, he knows who Joe Chill is. He's talking to him in a conversational tone. He even says, tell Falcone he's making a big mistake. So he knows that Falcone hired Chill. Thomas Wayne knows Joe Chill, and Joe Chill knows Falcone, obviously. Furthermore, we learn at the end of the episode when Mayor Hill is talking to Penguin that Mayor Hill actually ordered the hit on Thomas Wayne. So thereby, Joe Chill certainly knows Mayor Hill. So we see that Joe Chill, even though he's just a regular henchman thug person, he's in the inner workings of this, and he knows of all this stuff that's going on. Another thing that I thought really suspicious is that the way in which his death was sort of kind of brushed under the rug, okay? So you see in the actual episode, Alfred says something to the effect of, he was in Arkham and he died, he got stabbed, but nobody's going to miss him now. And Bruce doesn't even question it. And again, this is sort of weird because Alfred is explaining this to Bruce Wayne as if he doesn't already know this. Now, there's something to be said of Alfred is explaining it to the audience there and not Bruce Wayne, because that's information that we need to know. And that's fair, so I'll concede that point. But it does seem weird that his death is not explained or we don't see it, but we do see Joe Chill in a lot of depth, such to the point that if he were to take off that mask, we would recognize him. Okay, that's valuable. Once again, if we're going to compare to Batman Arkham Knight, which I hate to do, they're two very different games, but it's comparable in this way, such that why did you have the flashback scenes of Jason Todd Joker? It's so that when we see him take off the mask as the Arkham Knight, spoiler alert, we know who he is, okay? If we take off the mask and we have no idea who the person is, then it's not a rewarding reveal, and the person shouldn't have been wearing the mask all along. There's no point. So it has to be rewarding to the audience, and that's why I think that it is a character that we have seen before in this series. You have to understand that Telltale games, they're appealing to a broad audience. They have fans that are coming from Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, all across, even Minecraft, hopefully older Minecraft fans, all that sort of people, they're playing this game because it's a Telltale game. So you're not looking at just Batman fans that are playing this game, okay? And certainly that's not the case for other Batman games, don't get me wrong, but particularly with this one, it has to be accessible. And I think that what they've tried to do is that nothing goes without explanation. Even Joe Chill, his name and who he is, and it's explained in depth. Okay, so there's no presumptions. You don't have to take any Batman knowledge into this game to understand it. So if the leader of the Children of Arkham takes off the mask and it's Scarecrow, a lot of people don't know who Scarecrow is. That's the honest fact of it is. He's, I guess, pretty popular, so that's not the best example, but it's not going to be Firefly or Killer Moth or, whatever, Mr. Freeze, because some people don't know who that is. So that would not be rewarding. And furthermore, they have no exposition in the plot, and they have no reason to be revealing the truth about Gotham. But here's another theory that I thought about, and this is where, if I have to put money down, this is what I'm going with. I think that the leader of the Children of Arkham is the Penguin's father, who I forget his name. I believe his name is Tucker Cobblepot, okay? Tucker Cobblepot was a very wealthy man who was part of the oligarchy of Gotham, certainly. He was friends with the Waynes, and of course, Bruce and Oz were childhood friends. But more so, Tucker and Thomas were business friends, so he would have been in the mix of Mayor Hill and Falcone and all these people. So that is how he knows about revealing the truth. You have to know about the truth to reveal it, and he's revealing the truth of the inner workings of Gotham. Both Joe Chill and Tucker Cobblepot can do this. But here's why I think it's Tucker Cobblepot. If you notice, what is the first thing that this guy shows to the entire world? What is the truth that he wants to reveal? He wants to show Oswald Cobblepot's mother, being wrongfully convicted to Arkham Asylum, okay? That is what he shows. That is the clip. That is the truth that he shows. Why would Joe Chill have any interest in doing that? Think about it. Now, we're told at the park in episode 1 that Tucker Cobblepot, Oswald Cobblepot's father, is dead and mom is sentenced to Arkham. We get the mom sentenced to Arkham part. And we also get the reasoning that the leader of the Children of Arkham would want to track down Mayor Hill and Thomas Wayne. It's interesting that this connection happens, right? The very first thing that he shows, this is the truth that he wants us to know, is that Mrs. Cobblepot got sentenced wrongly to Arkham. That's the big truth. Why should we care? That's sort of the question that you get into. So clearly this person is passionate about that particular moment. Would Joe Chill be? I don't think so. Why would he care? He doesn't even know who she is. I really, really do think that Thomas Cobblepot is the leader of the Children of Arkham. Furthermore, we also know that the Penguin and the leader of the Children of Arkham and the Children of Arkham entirely, by the way, the Children of Arkham henchmen are assisting the Penguin in the final scene. So the point is, this leader guy and Oz are colluding. They're working together. They're in cahoots. They have a timed presentation, right, where Oswald kidnaps this one person and then the screen turns on. So they're all working together. Oz is working with the leader of the Children of Arkham and vice versa. Interesting, isn't it, that the possibility that Tucker is still alive. Again, we don't have any sort of exposition to him other than one line, but nor do we really to Joe Chill. And again, I really genuinely do not think it's going to be like a Joker gag and, takes off the mask. I just don't think so. I really, really don't. I don't think Telltale's doing that. That stuff has been done so many times, not just in the video games. I'm not throwing shade at the video. It's just been done so much. The Joker stuff. And just the supervillain gag, the Clayface gag, all that sort of stuff. I was about to say crap. It's not crap. It's good stuff. It's just been done so many times. I mean, Batman Hush and Arkham Asylum have the same freaking plot twist at the end. If you read, it really does. Like the whole Clayface, it's all the same. Not literally, but that's what I think. That is truly what I think. That Tucker Cobblepot is still alive. He's working with his son to get vengeance on all of these fat cats in Gotham. Mayor Hill, Thomas Wayne. So not only is the leader of the Children of Arkham, but also Oswald Cobblepot have a very, very strict regimen. And they're really trying to, incite this stuff. And by the way, do you notice that the leader of the Children of Arkham, and I know I've said that phrase a lot, but I don't know what else to call him, the head honcho guy, and Oz use the same exact verbiage, the same exact rhetoric. It's all the same. They say the same thing. In fact, they both use the same diction of revolution, the truth, and, the revolutionary's already started, it's too late to join, all that sort of stuff. They're all saying the same thing. Open your eyes, Gotham, that sort of crap. They're all saying the same thing. So this guy and Oz are really on the same page in a number of ways. They have the same agenda. They're both very, very passionate about revealing what happened to Mrs. Cobblepot. It makes sense to me. That's all I can say. I can't say it's 100%. Of course I can't. I honestly don't know. I could be very wrong. But I really don't think it's a supervillain gag. It's going to be a long time. I really just don't. I just don't think so. I really, really don't. So, as much as people are theorizing about, like, the Joker and stuff like that, I think that could be an episode 5 tease, much like Batman Begins and Batman Begins. I think that will be awesome. I just don't think that's what they're doing here. And with episode 2, we have a stronger vision. We have a stronger grasp of what their vision is. And this is a defining episode for the future of the series with Selina and Harvey Dent. And, the big supervillain stuff is just not cut out for this episode. Of this season, rather. With the Joker or, whatever, that sort of reveal. I really do think it is a character we've seen before, and I think that, if not Joe Chill, I'm going to place my big bet on Tucker Cobblepot, the father of Oswald. That's my theory. I want to know yours in the comment section below. Who do you think is the leader of the Children of Arkham? If you've made it this far, comment peanut butter in the comment section below so I know who the OGs are. 29 minutes of rambling. It's rambling, but I had a lot of fun recording this commentary. I gotta say, I love talking about this stuff, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. If you made it for 29 minutes, geez, I hope you know. Anyway, Batman the Telltale Series episode 2. Let me know what you thought about this video and the episode in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next one.